One of the things you'll hear me say over and over again is focus on patterns, patterns, patterns. And today I'm going to be talking about the 3 patterns you need to be watching right now. Hey everyone, Lead Trainer with Stocks to Trade, Tim Bowen here. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share these videos with your friends. And also, especially if you're on YouTube, be sure to ring that bell. Or if you're on other social media platforms, make sure your notifications are turned on. Maybe that be Instagram or Twitter with Periscope or Facebook. Because the cool thing is, every day I go live. The pre-market prep has been growing immensely. People are loving it. So anyway, make sure your notifications are on. You'll get notified as soon as I go live. And then, if you do like the pre-market prep or you enjoy these videos and you really want to get in depth, check out the Steady Trade Team. It's a mentorship program where I work with Mike Huddy. We do 2 webinars a day, every single day, everything archived, everything recorded. So if you miss a webinar, you can always jump back and watch it. We keep our notes. It's searchable. It's one of the best ways, I think, to learn these crazy patterns I'm going to talk about today. All right, that being said, let's talk about the 3 patterns that I think you need to focus on. Now, what I wanted to let you know is, I think these are the 3 best patterns for you to focus on as a newer trader. There's a million patterns out there. I mean, listen, there's a lot that is working right now. Breakouts are working, earnings winners are working, multi-week moves, red to greens, VWAP holds. You've heard me talk about all these patterns, but the biggest thing, especially if you're new, and that's probably why you're on this channel, is I don't want you to get overwhelmed, okay? I've got my ebook out now that's got 10 patterns in it. It's a lot, So what I want to talk about in this video is the 3 I really want you to cut your teeth on and focus on right now, because they're the 3 best. Now, keep in mind, I always talk about, the stock market being this big wheel. Things kind of come and go, but they always come back. So right now, these are the 3. Get these in your toolbox, master them, and then we'll keep bringing you new videos talking about the new patterns. So that being said, the number 1 I want you to focus on is what's called an OTC gapper. Okay, this is one of the best setups out there, especially for a newer account right now, or a newer or a smaller account, typically the same thing. What's great about these OTC gappers, I mean, these are these 1-cent stocks, sometimes less than 1 cent, triple zeros, we joke sometimes, because they're 0.0002 cents. So as a small account, I mean, you can buy thousands, millions of shares. You can get a pretty big size position, and when they go wild, the nice thing is you can grab those gains even with a smaller account. Listen, if you're trying to trade, I mean, as much as I love Tesla, if you listen to the podcast or whatever, you know how much I love Tesla. $900 a share, tough to trade with a small account. OTCs, perfect for that small account. So what is the OTC gapper setup? And do I have a great example? I always try and give you a current one. Today, VDRM, the day we're recording is January 14th. You can bring up the chart. And the biggest reason I love this one as an example is just shows you the power of the buying in the market right now and how wild things are. So this stock went from like a thousandth of a penny to 3 cents yesterday, which again, you can fact check me. You can look at the chart. I'm too dumb to do the math when we're talking these percentages, but if I remember right, it closed up 1,500%. Now, the great thing about this gapper is it's a multi-month, multi-year, basically all-time high. And when you see that, it shows up on everybody's scanner, everyone's radar, everyone buys into the close. And let me zoom in. You can see what happens with VDRM. Trends up all day. Then what you're looking for is that late day pullback and then that reclaim of the high of the day on volume. That's telling you that the buyers are there, and that's telling you that, you're getting confirmation. Remember, we're looking for self-fulfilling prophecies. Which that shows is that everyone, air quotes, is thinking this thing's going to gap. What happens when everybody buys and everyone thinks it's a gapper? They tend to gap. So anyway, stock closes at 3 cents on the day. Most traders, most people would think, oh, it's up too much. 1,500 is too much. What happens the next day? Gaps up a penny a share, which is like 30% at that point, but then proceeds to run all the way up to almost 8 cents a share. So 3 to 8, of not quite 8, almost 8, but basically 100% plus move after it was up 1,500%. Now, we don't see them like this. This is an extreme example, but look for that pattern. I mean, look at that 1 year chart, that big gain that then, again, what I want you to look for, that time of day, and there's so many videos where I talk about this, that weak action into the afternoon, and then that confirmation move when it re-breaks out right there at basically 2.2 cents. And then that's your confirmation. You would risk an afternoon fail down there at 1.8 cents. So you're risking a small amount to make a huge move. Multi-month, multi-week, multi-year all-time highs. The more the more time frames you can line them up on, the more likely they are to succeed. And then just look for the volume. That's the beauty. This traded 1 billion shares yesterday. And yes, I know it's a sub-penny stock, but I was joking in a webinar the other day. In 2021, 1 billion shares is like the new 100 million. As an old man trader like me, I remember a few years ago, we would lose our minds on 100 million shares traded. Now, we have stocks trade 100 million in pre-market. So, wild times out there. So, the next one I want you to look at is that it's also in the OTC land. So everything I said about VDRM applies to this one as well. Another OTC pink sheet stock, and that is that morning panic dip buy. So what you can see, the beauty of OZCSC, help me out, it's on the screen. I mush it all together. A lot of the Z's and the S's and the C's are too similar. But anyway, what you had here is this was an OTC gapper for 4 days in a row. Every day, ran to highs, gapped up the next day, ran to highs, gapped up the next day, etc. So that is what you're looking for. Multiple days of gapping over and over and over again. And then, like, say you chose not to take this as an overnight gapper because you're like, hey, 4 green days in a row, it's up too much. What you wait for is exactly what happened today. You can see the stock basically gapped up. So it gapped up again from 4 cents to 5 cents. So not a bad gap. What is that? 25%. But then when the stock goes red, it crashes hard. So it goes from 5 cents all the way down to 3 cents. Now what you're looking for is that turning on the level 2, that turning on the 5-minute chart. That's the key. Once you see those bidders start to step in, and we do a lot of videos on level 2, you can check it out, you'll see the bidders step in, and you can see it reflect on the candles here. Biggest candle of the day, then followed by that green candle on the 5-minute chart. That's what I want you to key on. And then gaps up, and then you can see if you bought that turning action, that first green candle, you've got, good 10, 15, 20% of upside. Not insane gains, not 100% gains, not 2,000% gains, but they're consistent. When these OTCs panic and when they set a bottom and you see the size step in, the bidders, on that left side of your level 2, big size bidders, they consistently bounce 10, 15, 20%. So that's what I mean by consistently repeatable gains. And that's the best way to grow a small account, okay? If you're thinking in that home run mindset, it's not the way to get yourself from that $500,000, $1,500 account to get over the PDT. Do it singles and doubles at a time, consistent setups, and morning panic dip buys. They don't happen every day, but they are one of the most consistent patterns if you're ready. So the last and probably one of my favorite patterns that I want you to look at is that first green day on a hot sector stock. And FTFT is the example I can give. And when we talk about hot sectors, it's always changing. There's always a new hot sector. There's always something going on. But FTFT crypto related, as of a week or so ago, was when Bitcoin went to 40,000, pulled back a little bit. Actually, it's back at 40,000 today. Who knows where it'll be by the time you see this video. But you can see FTFT ran back this summer, back when Bitcoin kind of started getting warmed up. And then you can see just a steady downtrend for months. Well, basically all of December. All this thing did was trickle lower, and you can see 4 red days in a row. So this stock is, air quotes, everyone thinks it's dead. Then we come in and we got that first green day with Bitcoin going wild, with big volume. And you can see this is the day I'm focusing on. So this is that first day of the move. Gaps up in pre-market, pulls back at the open, which ends up being, basically your entry you're looking at is that dip and rip type pattern you hear me talk about a lot. But what made FTFT so great was that first day, all eyeballs on it, huge volume. If we jump back to that daily chart, look at this volume. The volume was insane in pre-market, insane going into the open. And like I said, hot sector stock, low float, and when they go, they go. And you can see once this stock breaks that high a day into the midday area, which is that time of day I like you to focus on, goes from 3, closed at 650, and then was a little shaky in after hours, gaps up to 1150. But that's the power of volume, hot sectors, low float, first green days on stocks that just trend down. Because especially when they ran recently, because this one ran back in the summer. So you got a lot of bag holders that are going to buy on any news. So don't be a bag holder. Never be a bag holder. But we love them because what happens is they'll buy for any reason. They're just blind, hoping to get back to break even. Remember, if you ever meet a bag holder, they'll have hoping to get back to break even like tattooed on their chest, okay? That's the ultimate goal of a bag holder. They buy the top, they hold for months, years even, and then they just get prey to get back to break even. So they'll hammer anything news related. So that's what happened with FTFT, and you can see the power of that move. And the great thing is, this was a dip and rip early, first green day pattern. Then it's also that VWAP hold high a day break I talk about all the time, because you can see even though it spiked all the way up to $5, pulls back, range bound around VWAP, and then breaks the high of the day into the afternoon. So you could be as late as 3:45 p.m. and it still went from 5 to 650. Not a bad move in after hours, and if you gapped it, went as high as 11. Hot sectors, crazy volume, former runners, heavily shorted, low float. The recipe was there on FTFT, I tell you. So it was a great first green day, and we see so many of these. And ultimately, it's pulling back today with Bitcoin running. So what I'm hoping with FTFT, and you can always check back. I'm recording on January 14th. Ideally, this thing fades for a few days. Bitcoin breaks out. This gets that first green day, and we'll get a repeat of the pattern, and who knows where it goes at that point, especially when you get the bag holders adding. So, all right, everyone, those are the 3 patterns I really, really, really want you to focus on. And like I said at the beginning, minimize your number of setups. If you listen to the Steady Trade podcast, which we'll put a link below, one of the most recurring themes that Stephen and I talked about for years is, don't bite off too much. Get to the point where what a OTC panic looks like. What an afternoon gapper looks like. What a first green day looks like. Then start expanding and adding more tools to your tool chest. And that being said, if you want to see these patterns live every single day, check out the Steady Trade team. You see my screen. It's live. It's interactive. It's a small group. It's a positive group. We're all there to learn and grow together. Check it out, and I look forward to working with you.